Yo, what's going on today, YouTube? It's Rikar here, and today I'm going to give you guys 5 tips on how to climb out of Silver Elo in Valorant. Potentially one of the hardest ranks to climb out of for a new player. Let's go. Tip number 1 today, guys. Know your role in Valorant. So, Silver Elo is when things do get a little bit trickier. It's not bronze or iron anymore, where literally anything can happen. You can see some of the worst aim you've ever seen. You can see some of the best aim you've ever seen. It's wild down in bronze and iron. But Silver, it kind of bases out a little bit. You do get some smurfs, but knowing your role is humongous. The game starts to play how it's supposed to play slightly in Silver. Silver is kind of where a lot of people get stuck because either they're lazy or they don't want to put that little bit extra effort into grinding. Yes, you have to play a lot of games to get out of Silver. Typically, if you're really good and you're way better than this rank, you're going to fly through it. But a typical person, you're going to get stuck in Silver for a while. And the reason that is because there's A, a lot of smurfs, a ton of smurfs in Silver, and B, people just don't know how to play the game yet. And the other team can have a really big advantage mattering on if they have a smurf or they're actually playing as a team. So for knowing your role, I would say you have to just know what your role is. So say I'm playing Jet here. I'm a duelist entry. As an entry, my job is to get on site and hopefully get 1 kill and like distract everyone else so your team can get in and get some kills. That's my goal on Jet in this position. I play Jet a lot and that's what I do. I fly onto the site. But I do want to go out and say in Silver, your teammates aren't always going to follow up. So you have to communicate very well on that you're going to do this per round. And if you don't notice them starting to follow up and it's not working, stop doing it. It's Silver and your teammates are going to suck. Like they're still not going to be very good. So you really need to adjust to what your team wants from you. So if you're just jumping on site, you're 2-11 and no one else is getting your kills and you guys are losing a bunch, maybe don't jump on the site because that's just not going to work for you. Obviously, if you're playing something else like Brim, make sure you know your lineups on like your smokes. If you can get at least 1 lineup for your Molly, it's going to be a huge advantage in Silver, but I wouldn't say that's something specifically that you need to know. But just know your role and how to play with your team. I think a lot of people just kind of do whatever they want and just think they're going to win games because they can shoot people better. That is not true in Valorant. This is not CSGO. You have to play as a team a little bit more because abilities are huge. For tip number 2, we don't even need to show you anything on the screen. I just want you to work on your communication with your teammates. Yes, it's very hard in this game not to tilt. But if you can not tilt, it's going to help your team out a lot. So communicate where people are. Like if you can just overuse this thing here or the thing connected to your headset, the microphone, it's going to help your teammates out a lot. You might be annoying to your teammates, but would you rather be annoying to your teammates than someone you're probably never going to play with again? Or would you rather lose the game? Because let's be honest, there's nothing worse than wasting 40 minutes of your life playing a game and you just feel like it's hopeless. So obviously not every team's going to communicate, but there is ways to communicate without even using the mic. There's pinging. There's so many, well, it's really just pinging and using the mic, let's be honest. But if you don't want to use the mic, you're shy or whatnot, you don't have a mic somehow, which I think almost everyone has a mic now. You can get a headset for like $10, but legitimately just ping. The ping system is so good in this game. They've built in voice comms on these characters to say yes, no, like you can literally talk without using the mic. It's kind of wild, but I do think that communication in Silver is huge because realistically, from being out of Silver, now you can see, well, I'm not showing it, but I am gold 1 right now. I was almost gold 3 the other day, but we went a little downward spiral here. But when you communicate with your teammates, you have a very high chance of the other team not communicating because people don't like to communicate. People want to get on here and just be lazy. They expect that, oh, I'm just going to play rank today. Like, it's not like I'm going to climb in rank today. Like, if you have that mindset, that communication is going to most likely beat the other team 80% of the time. The times that I find myself not communicating or I'm just mad at my team, no one's communicating on my team, I swear we lose like 75% of the time. So, communicate. All right, you guys. Tip number 3. Play Deathmatch or use aim labs. But we have another part of this in a second here. So, Deathmatch is so good. You really need to understand how to use your guns and use your movement to make sure your aim is as accurate as possible. Got to remember, it's silver. Yeah, everyone has the greatest mechanics. You're going to see people running and getting kills. You're going to see some stuff that you've seen in bronze and silver, but everyone starts getting a little bit better as you get into silver. So you need to really tighten up those little things that you can, tighten those cogs, make sure you're there, make sure your counter strafing's good, make sure that you're just in the right spot. And I think that's why Deathmatch is so important. I've started playing Deathmatch recently. I used to just play Aim Labs, which Aim Labs is amazing for mouse control and like learning how to use your mouse correctly. But if you're not using your keyboard and your mouse together in this game, it's just not going to work. But the other part to this that I think is just so important, like it is so important. Make sure you're shooting bodies more than heads. As long as you're hitting shots, you're most likely going to get the kills. If you're doing like an aggressive peek or something, yes, go for a headshot. But in a consistent 1v1 when someone's coming on site, just shoot them in the body 3 or 4 times. They're most likely going to die. Like, this is silver. They're not Radiants out here that are going to just turn on you and tap you in the head. Yes, there's Smurfs that will do that. But most of the time, I find myself playing more consistent when I'm just aiming for like upper body. I'll end up getting a headshot every once in a while, but I'm not going to lose those gunfights that I just went for a headshot and I overshoot their head or shoot around their shoulders and then the other guy shoots me in the body 4 or 5 times and I die. So make sure you're practicing on that movement, practicing on that aiming, and just don't overthink it. Shoot for the chest. It's really going to help you climb through silver consistently. And like I said, you want to get aggressive, go for the headshot, but you don't always have to. Tip number 4 is another big one, guys. Make sure you understand what the other team is doing. Silver, people fall into habits. Like, literally, I would say 50% of the games in silver, everyone just goes A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. Yes, there's a couple sites that have ABC, which gets a little bit trickier, but like on the sites that are just AB, like there's a very high chance they're going to go back and forth. And another thing to go along with that, understanding your opponent, what are they doing? Are they just rushing on the site? Are they playing slow? Are they rotating every single time? This is the basic strategy of Valorant. And yes, it is easy to overthink this, but in silver, you don't have to overthink it. Most of the time, you are going to get games every once in a while. I will say before I say this, there is games that you can't predict it, but there's a lot of times where you can just kind of predict what this team's going to do after the first 4 or 5 rounds. They're either going to rush on the site, they're going to camp in this spot, they're going to consistently play this area. If you just find out those things, you can play around those and set up to just like beat these teams without even having to do much. So make sure you understand what that team is doing, because once you do, you're going to win a lot of games just simply by outsmarting these people, because silver, people don't want to think. People just want to log on and play a little competitive game where they feel like they're getting a little bit better, but they'll just fall into a pattern and you'll beat them by just thinking. And tip number 5, guys, last but not least, this is just very important. If you want to climb ranks, specifically silver, where it starts to get a little bit tough, do not tilt. Tilting is very easy in these games. Riot wants you to go on winning streaks, and they want you to go on following that losing streaks. So if you could not tilt and avoid the long losing streaks, like they are literally days where you'll win 10 games in a row, and then the next day you'll lose 10 games in a row. Like, they built this into their system where you are going to have to step up and play very good in games. So if you are consistently playing well, there's more chance you're not going to have such a long losing streak. And I've played League of Legends, I've played Valorant, I know how their system works. They want you to play their game hours on end. They want you to lose your mind and just go grind 15 hours a day. Most of us have jobs now, but back when I was in college, I literally played 20 league games in a day before. You know how that's literally almost 24 hours straight. So I actually did this like 2 nights ago when I was tilting in gold. I didn't tilt, but like, there's just unwinnable games. I probably should have gone off. And if you really do want to climb in silver, I found it consistent just to play like 2-3 games a day. You play 2-3 games a day, you take it as it is, and you move on to the next day. Or if you're just really not feeling that good that day and you want to climb, don't play. Or just play like 1 game. See how it goes. Maybe you'll want to play another, or you'll be like, all right, that was a little too sweaty today. I'm a little tired. Let's just end it on that 1 win. That's what I did last night. I was like, that's perfect. We got it. We're just good. We're not going to keep this tilting spree going, and on and on, onwards and upwards from there. So those are my 5 tips today, guys. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I just got out of silver recently. I've been out of silver before, but I thought this time around the game has evolved a little bit. Silver is a little bit smarter. Back in the day, silver was more like literally bronze or iron. Now it's like legitimately like platinum back in the day. So, well, back in the day, like when the game first came out, when I got platinum right off the rip, you actually have to play smart and grind a little bit and get through elo hell. So I hope this helps you guys out. If it did, make sure you do drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.